Hello, everybody. Tyler Carey here from WKYC.com as we are just 2 days away from the AFC Divisional Playoff, where our glorious Cleveland Browns will be taking on the defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs. And as you can see, I am joined by a very special guest. Legally, she is known as Debra Darnell. You all know her as the BoneLady, one of the greatest Browns fans in all of Northeast Ohio and the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. I imagine your mood has been quite jovial this week.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tyler, for having me on. This is just great. Now that we're all sort of locked down, it's kind of hard to celebrate this, right? So this is
I mean, no kidding. It's been a very weird year, but certainly the Browns making the playoffs is a very nice distraction, and it's good to give us a little bit of happiness during these times. Now, I have to ask you, we know how long it's been since the Browns have been in the playoffs, since they've won a playoff game. Has it hit you yet that they actually went into Heinz Field and beat the Steelers? Describe what was going through your head when they won that game.
What? Here's the thing, Tyler, and I don't know if a lot of Browns fans can relate to this, but, we've been through everything, even like losing our team, right? We've had our hearts ripped out here. And so everything that we've been through, and especially like I did the BoneLady as my tribute to their return in 1999. And so I thought by now, as we all did, that we would have been a contending team. And it just was, revolving door, new regime, revolving door, new regime, revolving door, new regime. And as a fan, that wears on you, but we keep hanging in there. And I sort of, life takes over. I've been doing this 22 years. I can't believe it's been 22 freaking years. And so I semi-retired being BoneLady. And then it's like, oh, well, we're in the playoffs. I absolutely, I'm coming out of retirement. The old lady's putting on the beehive. But here's the thing. For so many years and for so long, growing up in Cleveland, I almost think we were coming so close to winning. We're always being reminded about the drive, the fumble. Oh, wait, your river caught on fire. Oh, wait, you're the mistake on the lake. Like there's something that, we don't feel this way in Cleveland, but everybody else around the world keeps reminding us. And, just because the Browns have been losing does not mean that Browns fans are losers. We're the best fans in all of sports. So getting back to your question, I think I felt a shift. I do a lot of energy work. I felt the shift in the energy, and especially with this team. It's like, we kept living in the past, almost like there was a cloud over our head and we couldn't break out of it. And now this team came in here, these young guys, the coach, they came in here and they said, no, we don't buy that. We're going to win. And they're just being who they are. They're doing their thing. I want to say thank you to them. I'm sure we all want to say thank you for your hard work. But we're in a new era of football. I actually felt the change in the energy. Honor the past. I honor everybody that's played for the Browns, everybody that, fans that are no longer with us, all, the way the city used to be, honor all that. But you know what? We're not living in the past anymore. Browns fans, this is a new era and it feels great.
Absolutely. I'm with you. It really feels like this is not a flash in the pan, that this is something that is sustainable and that this Browns team is here to stay for a very long time as a contender. Now, we touched on COVID a little bit. I don't know if you've been to any games this year, but obviously the attendance has been limited. And I remember our own Jim Donovan saying in the game that they clinched the playoff spot, the only thing missing is all of you. Has it been a little bittersweet that in the year that the Browns are finally a bona fide contender, that it's during a pandemic where maybe we can't get together and enjoy it as much as we would like?
No, I mean, not really bittersweet. It's just, I made a joke at the beginning of the season. I said, oh, pandemic, this will be the year the Browns go to the Super Bowl and no one will be able to go.
Oh.
So you have to have a sense of humor. For me personally, I stopped going to the games quite a while ago. just for several reasons. I mean, life happens to all of us, right? And so, but I've kept up watching the team, watching, when I can. And it's like, but being a Browns fan is in your blood. It's in your heart. Everybody that is a Browns fan, there isn't any way that you're supposed to do it. Do you know what I mean? You can be a fan. God, I grew up watching them on TV. It's the kind of thing that there are Browns fans all over the world. They're not coming in for the game, right? So that doesn't change. However, we get to watch it. But I will say the fact that there weren't any of those annoying Steeler fans in the stands made watching that game so much more enjoyable. And of course, that first quarter I've never seen a Browns first quarter like that. I was oh my gosh, that was unbelievable. That right then, that's when I knew this is different. This is so different.
I feel like a lot of people, and you were probably in this same boat, they weren't as much celebrating as just in shock. Like, I remember me watching the game and covering the game on my couch. I'm just looking at like, huh? Like, is this real? I remember looking up the heavens, go, what's the catch here? Like, what's going to happen here? And in the end, they win the game. And it really was just, I have to say, for me, having known mostly nothing but bad football in my lifetime, it was incredible to watch.
Yeah. And you know what? And I feel for the young fans, but I have to tell you, I feel for old fans like me, or even older fans that have been just diehard, hanging in there with this team, and win or lose, and just finally getting there. And the one thing is, I really think in this town, sort of collectively, we've always had this self-esteem problem, in the sense that we needed somebody, someone famous to come here and put us on the map, or somebody to make us feel better about ourselves. And I think through this long stretch and journey, we've realized Cleveland is great. It's the people that make this city great. We don't need all those hotshot celebrities and all that fake stuff that goes on to make us something. No one needs to tell us how great we are. We already know that. And so, you know what? I think maybe you learn that through adversity and going and, not winning anything for a long period of time. I really think it builds, we're resilient. It builds character. And I think we're humbled. And so when you say you were stunned, I think we all were stunned. Like, my mouth just dropped open. I went, wait a minute, we're not used to this. But you know what? Get used to it, Browns fans, because it's a whole new day. And, I told you I do a lot of energy work and things, and it's also shifting on the planet. I know we're in a lot of chaos right now, but trust me, we're in the eye of the storm. Once we get through to the other side, it's going to be so much better. So be who you are, live your life the way you want to live it. Don't listen to what anybody tells you. Don't fit in a box. If I would have listened to all the people that told me I was crazy for doing BoneLady, for painting my Volvo wagon like a Browns helmet and putting an 8-foot bone on top, none of this, the past 22 years, would have happened to me. And I have the best friends I've had because I boned up and put this on. And I've met so many wonderful people. I've gotten to do some really great things. And, I even wrote a book about it. So, about my journey. It's like the most important thing is how you feel about yourself. And I think as a city, now we're ready. I think we feel good about ourselves here in Cleveland. And Tyler, I'm looking to a lot of you young people. I mean, God, I really sound like the old lady, but listen, you guys, like millennial, you guys have this energy. I don't know how old you are or whatever, but you guys have this
26.
That
So
you're not buying into this. You're just coming in and going, the old way you guys used to do things, we're not doing it that way. That doesn't make any sense. And so that is why I have so much hope for the world. And I think you guys are going to have many, many years of enjoying great Browns football.
Well, I certainly hope so, and I certainly appreciate that from you. Now, when I think back, to me, when I think of Browns fans, there's kind of the holy trinity of supporters of this team. It's John Big Dog Thompson, who really became
absolutely.
big in the 80s and 90s. Pumpkinhead's a little bit newer. And then there's you, and that's in no particular order. Now, you've told your story many times before. You even touched on it there. For those of you, for the people who are watching this who don't know, tell us a little bit about how this BoneLady persona came to be way back in 1999 and how it's stood fast all through here to 2021.
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to mention John Big Dog Thompson. John, I mean, I would watch him on TV in the 80s, right? And then when I'll tell you the BoneLady story, but then I became friends with John and we would do a lot of things together, a lot of charity things. And he was very welcoming to me, which I have to say I never said I was the greatest Browns fan, but I think because I'm visible, some people in the very beginning took offense. Some of the guys that have been in the dog pound, the old dog pound a long time ago, it's like, oh, BoneLady, what are you doing here? So I put up with that kind of stuff. And even being a woman too, I just put up with that stuff. I just let it roll off my back and I'd make a joke, oh, your mother must be proud. But John is great. And I've lost touch with John. But yeah, I think he is the first, I don't know, really visible fan. There's so many great fans. There's so many great fans that, have like basements full of Browns memorabilia. Fans are fans in all different kinds of ways. But as far as the visible ones, usually if you dress up, you're more visible. So John certainly is. And then Pumpkinhead, Gus and I are friends and we've done some things together. And it's so funny because he refers to me as Yoda Bone and a little Star Wars reference. But when this first happened to me, it helped a lot to meet other fans. Like I met a lot of fans around the NFL that have been doing this for years, like the Hogs, the Hogettes, Arrow Man from the Chiefs, like a lot of Barrel Man, a lot of fans that have been doing it a long time. And it really helps you because there isn't a like an ultimate fan handbook. Like you just, all of a sudden this ride happens to you and you're just going, what is this? What is this? So it really helps to have people that kind of knew, like, or they had a similar experience. But anyway, just real quick, I'll give you the real quick one. I was born in Cleveland, grew up in Richfield, Bath, but I was living in Columbus at the time the Browns left. And I was so angry, heartbroken like everyone. So I boycotted the NFL for 3 years. Thank God I was living in Columbus because I could watch some Buckeye football. But I said, I'm not going to watch till my Browns came back. So January of 99, when the expansion draft happened, I literally, Tyler, I woke up and said, I'm going to paint my car like a Browns helmet, put an 8-foot bone on top. And everyone looked at me like I was freaking out. They go, it's a Volvo. You'll ruin your car. I did not listen to one person. I was possessed. So I worked on my car was like my traveling tribute to the return of the Browns. I was a little obsessive. I don't know if you can tell that. So I entered myself and a bunch of friends and family, and we were in the Doodah Parade in Columbus, Ohio. And I thought, well, I just can't be normal and be in this parade, walking behind my car. So I made this outfit the night before. And I always say, BoneLady is what happens when you drink too much beer and you own a glue gun. And I just did it for fun. And everyone, the place was just exciting. Well, you were very young, but the place was, Ohio was just like, can't wait for the Browns to come back. So I drove my car up here for the preseason game in August and had stopped in Medina, have dinner at my cousin's restaurant, came out, and there was a note on my BoneLady car that said, hey, we love your car. Want to do a story. So they did a story. I said, I haven't driven into Cleveland. We want to follow you. And for some reason, probably because I'm just kind of ornery, I said, oh, and by the way, I have this little outfit I wear. So they filmed me all driving into Cleveland, all through, long story short, the pep rally was on. They threw me up on stage. And that night, my story was on, a local station. It was fun. It was like, okay, that was my 15 minutes of fame. But hey, the the game's tomorrow and we're going to tailgate in the Muni lot. And so the weird thing is I go to the game. Now, this is the first time I'm ever the BoneLady in Cleveland. I go to the game and we're tailgating and people are coming up to me and they know my name and they want a picture. And I'm like, this is weird. And then a friend comes up and says, oh, Deb, the CNN has been playing your story on a loop. Like, so everyone was watching this happen. And I just kind of went, I mean, it was like, what? So it was like I was shot out of a cannon. And, you know, something I did for fun, but it kind of shows you the power of the media. So, you know, no offense, Tyler, but don't believe everything you see on TV. So anyway, the only reason I did it, I was having so much fun. I was having so much fun meeting other fans. I've been reminiscing recently about the Muni lot and how great it was back in those days. But then in 2001, I was honored in the Visa Hall of Fans at the Pro Football Hall of Fame to represent Cleveland Browns fans. And at that moment, I decided, okay, I have to take this seriously. Number one, I'm a woman and this is such a boys club. And even though half of NFL fans are female, but I thought, okay, I can do some good things with this. And then we'd have a reunion every year. So that's how I got to meet all the other fans from all the other teams. And it just grew to, you know, we put on a tailgate party for kids. It just grew and grew and grew. So over the years, I've done tons of things. And then I was kind of the token female from there. And, you know, we did Best Damn Sports Show, the NFL kickoff, I had a lot of opportunities to do things, but I always tried as best as I could. I always tried to represent Browns fans as best as I could, you know, because I always say I'm not the greatest fan. There are such fans that deserve the recognition I've got more than me. You know, I'm just more visible and I don't know, a little more out there. And it's just been the wildest ride I've ever been on, but no one ever told me I was going to be on the ride.
Yeah, well, and what I've always liked about you, and a couple of points I'll mention here is, number one, you're not a quote unquote apologist or a cheerleader. You're devoted to the team. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. You want them to win, but you'll call them out when they're not playing well. And unfortunately, until this year, that was most of the last 20 years. But also to you, it's much bigger than just the Browns. You've been very open about you being a dog lover, and that kind of ties into the dog pound and everything, but your love for animals and pets. And also your slogan, be who you are.
Yeah.
And which you touched on earlier, just going out and being your best self. It's bigger than just the football team.
You know what, Tyler? Thank you so much for seeing that and realizing that. That means a lot. Not everybody gets that side, and I think that was a reason why I continued to do it, because there was something deep down that I kind of knew this is bigger than football. This is about connecting with people and kind of helping people, be who they are. And not to be afraid of it. You know, our culture conditions people. It wants you to fit in the box, and do all the right things. And, you didn't come here to the earth to do that. There's no one on the earth like you. You are one unique soul, and everybody has these gifts, and you have to find a way to tap into that and let them out. And, I'm that's my purpose on this earth, is to help people do that and not to be afraid of it. And I really appreciate you seeing that, because a lot of people, I took a lot of flack, especially early on. If no one, who's a wacky lady in the beehive? What's that about? But I just kept going and just didn't listen to anybody. And the other part is I'm a pretty upfront person. Like my emotions are on my sleeve. So when I had opportunities to be in front of a camera, we won't mention any names, but I did have a gig for a while, and I know that I was really honest. And the reason I was honest about the Browns is because, as a TV viewer and a fan myself, nothing is worse than watching someone be inauthentic or tell you things that aren't true. Oh, look at this over here. It's like, wait a minute. No, that's not what I'm seeing. And so I wanted to be honest. I wasn't going to, when fans weren't showing up to watch a football game in a bar, there was a reason for that. I wasn't going to pretend like, oh, life is wonderful and it's all good, because it wasn't. It was like, there's a problem here, and the problem is, I think it's maybe with the Browns. And so I did get some flack for that. And I'm sure the Browns probably didn't appreciate that. But you know what? You have to be real. Whatever. I think we're learning that right now in this country, especially. You got to be real with people. Just tell them what's going on, And I think we went through a lot of different regimes of people saying they were going to fix this losing culture, but they never did it. They never did anything. They just lied. I used to laugh at the press conferences. I'd be, why do you guys even bother? Just, you're just wasting our time. Why even, because everybody's giving you corporate speak. I hate that. When you play a horrible game, say you played a horrible game. That's it. So thanks for pointing that out, Tyler, because I always wrestled with that. But you know what? I can't what is that? You can't put baby in the corner. You can't put BoneLady in a box. I gotta speak the truth. That's just how I am.
Well, we certainly appreciate you speaking the truth for these last 20 years. And as one of the most honest Browns fans we know, I have to ask you for your prediction this Sunday. They are once again a heavy underdog, but they were a heavy underdog last week. They're getting some players back. It'll be a tall order, but your prediction, can our beloved Cleveland Browns upset the mighty Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday at Arrowhead Stadium?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And this isn't pie in the sky, because you know me. When I thought we were only going to win 3 games, I told everybody we're only going to win 3 games. I'm feeling this energy. And you know what? Love being the underdog. Love it, love it, love it. And we all have seen teams where, they've had all the greatest players and, won a Super Bowl. And, we've seen them be knocked down. So anything can happen. But I'm going with the energy, Tyler. I have goosebumps right now. Like, I'm literally going with the energy. And we have all the pieces and parts that we've been wanting to have on this team. And I think it's going to help that Coach can come out of the basement now. That's going to help. So think about how we won last week. And look, Joel Bitonio is going to come back. I mean, we didn't have all our pieces and parts, and look what happened. So there's something about attitude and grit and heart. And you can't, I don't care how many X's and O's you analyze, that will always outshine you. And we have a lot of talent on this team. We have a coach that knows how to get the best out of every one of those players. And you know what, Browns fans, don't sweat it. Let's just ride it. Let's just ride it. We're here. This is the one thing I know about the universe, and I'll leave you with this, Tyler, is that when you hold on to things and you want things to happen so badly, it never will. But when you put it out to the universe and say, I want this to happen, and you let it go and you forget about it and realize you're not in control of any of it, let the universe take over and it'll happen. So let's all just let it go. Enjoy it. Just have fun and enjoy the ride, because that's having fun is the best energy out of all the energy. So
amen to that. We are certainly having fun. All of Cleveland is certainly feeling the goosebumps. I trust your judgment. I trust your energy. Hopefully the Browns can pull it off and keep this magical ride going. Debra Darnell, aka the BoneLady, joining us to talk this great Browns renaissance. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the game on Sunday.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler, for having me. And listen, anybody look for me on Facebook, because I'm posting a lot of memories. I just posted an old documentary. And so if you want to reminisce about Browns or whatever, or just get in touch, just reach out, and I'll answer you. I mean, let's all enjoy the ride together. And usually I'm on Twitter too, watching the game. So
Awesome.
thanks so much, Tyler.
No problem. And we'll link to your social pages as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Go Browns.
Take care. Go Browns.